Hi, welcome to our SOAR Time meetings today. I hope everybody is doing well. Today we are going to talk about diversity, discrimination, and awareness. Diversity refers to the ways that we all are different from one another. Some differences can be our gender, our sexuality, our ethnicity or culture, our religion or spirituality. Our families can look different, how much money that we have, our age, our body size, and our ability. We believe that diversity, or all of the things that make us different, should be appreciated and celebrated. Loving our differences starts with being curious and open-minded when someone seems different from us. Discrimination, on the other hand, is when people treat others badly because they are different from us in some way. A form of discrimination is called oppression, and it often is used to take power away from an individual or a group of people. It can be hard if we experience discrimination, but there are supports and ways of resisting, which we'll talk about later. We all have to work at challenging negative stereotypes and not judging people because of how they look or who they are. And we at Stanley High School, we can take a stand against discrimination in all its forms, such as racism, sexism, homophobia, fatphobia, ageism, ableism. And we can look at our own attitudes and our own beliefs and our own behaviors, and we can surround ourselves with people who are different from us. We all have stuff to learn, myself included, and we all have our own lessons to teach. Learning the value of diversity can take a lifetime, and sometimes it can be difficult, and other times it can be very rewarding and exciting. So now we're going to talk a little bit about privilege and discrimination, okay? So even though each and every one of us is a human being, we are all people who are capable of feeling happy, sad. We're capable of feeling love, fear, anger, and joy. We sometimes end up being treated differently based on what we look like. Sometimes we're treated differently on who we love or how old we are. So I want you guys to kind of stop and think a little bit about a time that maybe you went into a convenience store or a store in the mall and maybe you were treated differently, like maybe that clerk or the store person followed you around and immediately assumed because you were a teen that you were going to try and steal something. Has that ever happened to you? If it has, that's a time that you are being judged unfairly just for being young. This is one example of how you can be judged unfairly because of your age, and it also shows that in some situations being older can mean having extra social power. So that extra social power is sometimes called having privilege. Privilege can be hard to understand, but usually the people who have the most privilege or social power deal with the least ageism, racism, sexism, homophobiaism. Did I say that right? So then discrimination is sort of like opposite of privilege. It's when you get treated differently because of your age or your skin color, gender, body size, your sexual orientation, your accent, maybe where you're from. When we judge people on these qualities, it's called discrimination. Discrimination is unfair and it hurts and it makes life harder for the people who experience it. Does that mean if you experience these things like sexism, racism, or homophobia that you can't have an amazing life? Absolutely not. People who have lived through these challenges often have powerful insight. They also can be amazing support and resources to others who are going through the same thing. And you people who have felt discrimination, you can help us to build stronger communities. And then on the other hand, does it mean that you should feel guilty if you don't experience discrimination? No, not at all. You don't need to feel guilty, but you do need to realize the responsibility that you hold. You do need to realize that we all have a role in playing to make life more accepting and welcoming to everyone around us. So, what do you do if you feel different? There are so many ways that people can feel different. When I think about myself, I am different because I am short. And I think about how diverse Caden and Wyatt and Rhett are from me because of height. I think of how we are different from one another because of our height. I don't feel discriminated against because of my height. I don't feel like when I walk around the hallway that the Hanson boys get more privilege than me because they're taller. I don't feel that way. It's a way that we are unique. And there are a list of ways that we can be unique from one another. Maybe it's from where you came from. Maybe it's your gender identity. Maybe it's who you are attracted to or your sexual orientation. Maybe it's the languages you speak or your heritage or your culture or your ethnic background or your values or your spirituality or your beliefs or even like just your life experiences. So even though we're all human, we all are also unique. And it means that I have my own stories to share. It means that you have your own stories to share. And it means that we all have gifts that we can share with one another. So there's always going to be times in our life when we feel different from the people around us. Not just when you're 13 or 15 or 22 or 39 or 60. Feeling different, it can make us feel a lot of ways. It can make us feel lonely and scared, or it could be making us feel welcome and proud. It depends a lot on who we're surrounded by. It depends a lot on how the people around us treat us. So when we get up in the morning, when we come to school, we have a choice every day on how we're going to treat people. We can help people feel welcomed, we can help people feel proud, and we can help people feel important and valued. It's all in how we treat people. Are we going to treat them with respect? Are we open to learning and appreciating things that make us all different and unique from one another? In this way, all you guys, we have the power to impact the world around us. Ultimately, everyone who walks on the face of this earth deserves to feel safe. Everyone on this earth deserves to feel treated with respect. If you are somebody who feels like you are not being treated with respect, or you're being bullied or mistreated, or you do feel that discrimination against you as you walk through these hallways or through our community, I invite you to come and talk with me. I invite you to talk with a teacher that you trust, or a parent, or another adult, or administration, or a coach. Talk to someone and ask for help. Anyone who's going through a hard time can try to find a friend or an adult that they trust. Just remember that you're not alone. And if somebody in our community or in our school that you just don't feel like you can go talk to them at this point, I'm going to be hanging out posters around the school. And these posters have resources for you guys to go to. The first one is called teenonline.org. This is an organization where it has teens helping teens. So you can call, text, email, or there's a message board online, and you'll talk to teens, people your age who are trained in dealing with different issues. So that's one way that you can reach out if you don't feel like reaching out to the people around you. I also will have on the poster a mentalhealthamerica.net/self-injury website. This is a number that you can call to talk to somebody if you are cutting or self-harming in any way. The next one is the National Suicide Prevention Line. If you're having thoughts of suicide, this is a number that you can call and talk to somebody who doesn't know you, who doesn't know your family, who doesn't know your school, just someone unbiased, someone that's trained to talk to you. And then the last one is called itgetsbetter.org, and this is for people who are struggling with their sexual orientation. Maybe you are somebody who wants to come out, but you don't know how your parents or your friends or your teachers or those around you, what they will say or what they will do. This is a website that is full of information and resources for you. It also is full of stories of people who have come out as gay and how it was rough at first, but the moral is it gets better, and they have found their purpose and they have found their life. And so it's a movement full of hope for people. So these resources will be hung up around our school. If you want to take one, you can, but they are there for you. So what else can we do? I know this is getting long and I'm talking a lot, but you don't have to meet together to talk about things if you don't want to afterwards. But I want to talk about what I feel like our expectations and our goal should be for our school here in Stanley High School. And it's called allyship. Allyship is when we join together to stop discrimination. It's when, an example would be when men join women in stopping sexism. It's when maybe someone who is white and feels that they have white privilege stands up and they help stop racism. Becoming an ally is a lifelong process of learning and asking yourself hard questions and asking your friends and your family hard questions. But I think if we all stand together, that we can all challenge ourselves to think and act in ways that are more accepting and more inclusive and more welcoming, and it allows us to take action right here in our very own school. So here are some ways that we at Stanley High School can come together and stop discrimination and hate. So the first thing is look at your own attitudes and behaviors daily. Now, I'm not just saying you do this. I'm not adding anybody when I go through this list. I'm not asking only you guys to look at your own attitudes and behaviors daily. I'm asking myself to do the same thing. So this isn't something where once a year I say, oh, Sarah, you better recheck your beliefs and your attitudes and how you're treating people around you. This is a daily thing. A daily thing that I ask myself. Sarah, how are you treating those around you? So I'm asking you to do the same thing. I'm asking you to think about the language that you use and stop saying sexist, racist, and homophobic terms or phrases like, that's so gay, or that's retarded. And no, I'm not adding anybody. So if you think I'm adding you, I'm not. We are all going to make mistakes occasionally, and we're all going to say something sometimes insensitive. And when that happens, it's our job to apologize and make it right, and then keep trying to better ourselves. Don't laugh at offensive jokes and challenge them if you feel safe to do so. Step outside your comfort zone and get to know different types of people. Listen to their stories, listen to their hopes, listen to their dreams. What if they end up being one of your very best friends? Learn from people who are different from you. Listen more than you talk. Organize awareness building activities or events at our school. You guys can do that. Talk to me about starting different groups or support groups if you feel like that would help our students. Learn from the history where we live. Who were the first people to live in Stanley, North Dakota? Be politically aware. Educate yourself and understand what's happening in the United States and around the world. Volunteer with community service organizations. Boycott companies that are homophobic, racist, sexist, or fatphobic, or etc. Talk to our school administrations and our school board about making education about respecting differences amongst people a priority in our school. It begins with you guys. It really does. And I'm here to support you. I'm here to challenge myself. But you guys have the power to make a difference. And I believe in each and every one of you. That's all. I hope you guys have a great day. I look forward to seeing changes in our school that begin with you.